Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Premier League presentation. I'm Blaze, bringing you guys a game between Kaipi Gaming and Team Liquid. Sorry about the delays there. We were trying to get a set of French commentators into the lobby, but the communication with them broke down, so we'll just proceed on through as our normal thing and try to get that worked out for them tomorrow. Either way, thank you guys so much for tuning in. The first game of Team Liquid versus Kaipi, very, very interesting indeed. Seeing Kaipi really trying to pull it together with a Sand King mid, going up against the Brewmaster, was pretty good in the laning phase. The problem is transitioning out later on. It didn't seem like the coordination with the Darkseer was on point, and that's, if you're going to be coordinating with anybody on the team, it better be the Darkseer. Timing those vacuums with the epicenter, it's what it's all about, honestly. If you can get a great wombo combo ulti in that scenario, great. The other thing that I have a bone to pick with about Kaipi's selection of the Sand King Darkseer, there is the fact that they were up against a very beefy team. Their only chance, as far as killing people with incidental damage, even if they have a huge level advantage, is going to be bringing down the Rubik, bringing down the Nature's Prophet, bringing down the Wisp. Wisp has overcharged, that's a big damage reduction if he pops it off prior to that. The Rubik has the null field mitigation, and Boba was able to farm up a mech rather freely because he decided to focus on the jungle. So those heroes, not as squishy as you might think, and then Lifestealer and Brewmaster, that's practically impossible to really sock it to them. So in that situation, I like the draft, but against a different team. I don't think it was really focused on what they needed to be counteracting and what they needed to be dealing with there. I like the aspect of team fight versus Wisp, don't get me wrong, it's a very important thing to have available, but stacking up magic damage rather than disables, I feel is what allowed Lifestealer to just run rampant throughout the team fight. So now we do see, speaking of those magic immunity piercing disables, we see the Magnus picked up here, and that's going to give them a ton of potential. It's something that was available in the pool previously, and it's I've kind of feel it was a bit of a mistake not to pick it up, but now they immediately rectify that. They go, we want to be in the aggression, we'll put Magnus on out here, and presumably on the mid lane, played by Arise. He did play a melee strength hero last time around that set up in the mid lane, and I'm sure Magnus is one of those heroes that's within his forte as well. But in response, Team Liquid gets the Nyx Assassin, one of those top tier heroes that did escape the banning, and Ice Mike just loves that hero a little bit too much to let it go, slip through his fingers there, so TC picking that one up for him. And now the question is what to follow through. If this was the Liquid that was maybe like 3 weeks ago, I would have immediately said it was going to be the Clockwork Goblin. It's just something that they love to pick up as a kind of second pick when they do have second pick available. But now they kind of only use it as a counter pick. They see a Lifestealer, they say, okay, I can trap him in cogs, cool, I'm going to pick up the Clockwork. But in general, they're trying to diversify their playstyle, and a game 2 is something that they generally try to use as an opportunity to do that in a lot of the matchups here. Not to say they take this any lightly, they just want to make sure that they're ahead of the curve rather than falling behind. So trying out their more diverse strategies, and we'll see how it pays off. But for right now, Lone Druid picked up, but they're going to have to find something that cancel out the Phantom Lancer here. The Keeper Light isn't available, so the Phantom Lancer is going to have to rely on the Shadow Demon support, as well as maybe some, like a Soul Ring for mana sustainability. But the more important thing is his late game potential, but I love this counter pick. I love the Tinker coming out. It's something you generally don't see to counteract a Phantom Lancer, but it has so much presence. If you get a Force Staff, the Spirit Lance isn't that scary. Blink Dagger even, no, you can't disjoint it, so the Blink Dagger won't help that much. But either way, when you get like a Force Staff or something, then as soon as that Spirit Lance comes out, it doesn't matter that you're slowed because you're already so far away. But most importantly, it's the spam of the march. Just march, burning down those Phantom Lancer illusions, because essentially it makes the floor lava. And when you have a bunch of low HP guys that just try to do a lot of damage, and you just have all these machines marching on around, they're just going to get chewed on through really quickly, and that gives Team Liquid a lot of potential to counteract the split push potential of a Phantom Lancer, to control him in a team fight with a lot of disables, either through blinding him with a laser to stop him from juxtaposing, or to burn down the illusions so they cannot propagate themselves either. Either way, very solid pick. The question is how to run it. You can run them in the jungle for the ancient stacking, you can run them in the mid. Traditionally, Boba has put him in the mid lane, but there's still a lot of different ways we can run it. And with this situation of the Lone Druid, it's interesting to see. We're going to see TC Lone Druid. He's just way too good on the Lone Druid to pass up that opportunity here. But yeah, Boba's Tinker is definitely something that I feel we've not gotten enough opportunities to see of late, and I'm glad to see it back on up. But nevertheless, we've seen potential from these different heroes and players on Kaipi, so we'll see how that works out for them. Right now, the Phantom Lancer are going to be picked up by Eternal Envy. Like I said, Arise is going to be running on Magnus, and then from there, hard to say about the others, but Zizu and I believe Pylite would be one of the two people to pick up the Shadow Demon, one or the other there. Either way, we do see Lifestealer and Nature's Prophet banned out. Interesting bans coming to Kaipi. I mean, it was very dangerous for them last time. The Wisp, the Lifestealer, the Nature's Prophet, all of them were very key in the Team Liquid strategy last time around. But in this situation here, they aren't really looking for that same kind of style. They're playing a completely different lineup. They want farm on the Tinker. They want to put pressure out on the opposite lanes with Lone Druid, while they have a great 4v5 type team fight. I mean, Lifesteal is pretty solid in 4v5 type team fights, but it's not that big of a deal. Same thing with Nature's Prophet, unless the mech came out really quickly. No, honestly, just the Nature's Prophet is the wrong ban. Plain and simple, because Bulba would be the one to pick him up. Fluff doesn't really like the Prophet compared to a ton of other jungle supports. And in this situation, he doesn't add presence to the team fight. He would have gotten obliterated by all these other heroes. In general, Nature's Prophet is a wasted ban from my perspective. It has great mobility, great potential to be frustrating with the Lone Druid Tinker that already provides split push. But as far as fortifying their team fight, Liquid would not have gone for him. It just doesn't make enough sense. The Rubik is a good ban, though. Magnus, RP, the Shadow Demon, Demonic Purge, even the Lancer's Illusion, it goes based on Rubik's stats, not on the Lancers, but either way, they're all great steals. They're all great spell steals that they didn't want to have to worry about. Either way, we do see the Quidapane and the Chen banned on out from Team Liquid. They're going to be looking for one more to take off the board here. It's interesting that they're diversifying their ban set. The Chen neutrals are great to synergize with the Shadow Demon Disruption. You set up a Centaur Conqueror, you set up a Hellbear Smasher. Both those have great disables in a lane situation. The problem is they need to get close, and that's where the disruption comes in, putting them down for 2.5 seconds, but following it up nicely with that Chen. Technically Enchantress still in the field, but she's a little bit more farm reliant to actually make it worth the pick, and that's kind of what Liquid's expecting out of this situation. Same thing with the Jakiro, actually not the same thing, but same concept of banning out supports that synergize well with Shadow Demon, but it's hard to draft that way because you still already have the Lina, the Leshrac, two great supports to work in that fashion, and I definitely think one of those is going to be what Kaipi looks for next. Probably Alina, because she does so well with Magnus. So, yeah. We're in this position here. Team Liquid wants to create space, wants to create potential where they can just get their good farm up, because a Hex Phantom Lancer is a dead Phantom Lancer. They get Entangle proc, they get any kind of detection on top of the individuals that are acting aggressively towards him. Suddenly, there's really not too much that he can do. They have the laser, they have the entangle, both of those disarming, and also going in for a sheepstick pretty early on from Tinker after a blink or a force. So this will be pretty interesting indeed. I'm almost worried I'm going to eat my words that people have come up with another use for the Nature's Prophet that I haven't thought of. And that's one thing as a caster. I try to improve my knowledge as best as possible of their different player sets, but right now I don't personally see the viability, even though there are some potential. Like I mentioned, Split Push could be great for them, and that's where the Leshrac comes in. I just kind of feel like they also need a team fight. Leshrac provides a stun. The Sprouts were great from the Prophet last game, but again, it's not going to be picked up by Bulba, and it doesn't really add hard lockdown for this team, which kind of necessitates it. The Brewmaster coming out for Kaipi. I don't know how I feel about this. This is weird. The Magnus is going to be forced into a different laning scenario than previously, I believe. I mean, we have seen off-lane Brewmaster coming out of Admiral Bulldog previously, and it can work pretty well. I don't know. Magnus and Brewmaster, they're both great solos as far as the mid situation, but as far as offlane, both of them have their weaknesses, and I feel that those are weaknesses that can be exploited here. So this will be pretty interesting. I think this is going to be a hard farm Tinker. I think they're going to farm up the Tinker to get some good early on. They can also do it with the Storm Spirit. Both of them really great potential. Actually, let's negate exactly what I said and just rewind a little bit. Just erase a couple of sentences there, because I actually changed my mind entirely. Nyx Assassin, Leshrac, Storm, great potential on the top lane. Korok, though, with the Storm Spirit, is very hard to contest in mid. This is so weird because Liquid has such a diverse set of individuals. They are very, very versatile at taking a number 1, a number 2, and number 3, scattering them all about based on playstyle, based on the draft. It allows Team Liquid to draft exactly how they want to because they effectively have like 80 heroes out of the pool available to them. They have tons of tricks up their sleeve. We do see a rise on the Brewmaster. Might mean that Bone 7 is going to offlane that Magnus, or at least do his best to. But in this situation here, very, very interesting draft coming out. Essentially, the combination of... Did Fluff pick up the... yeah, Fluff and IX Mike have actually trading off quite a bit as well. Like, Fluff, IX Mike used to always play the Nyx, used to always play the Rubik, and now we're actually seeing that Fluff and stuff is trying his hand at those as well. I'm not sure if that's just because Fluff didn't feel like playing the Leshrac, or if there's other things in mind there. But either way, lanes are going to get weird. This is kind of what I was talking about with the flexibility of the players, but we do see Korok. He's going to go for that mid. He's going to go 1 versus 1 up against Brewmaster mid. He's going to have a good time. But where does the Tinker go? In this situation, TC will want to be presumably in the offlane, and then Fluff, IX Mike, Tinker down bottom. But it's still very, very weird because they want to put pressure out on the Phantom Lancer. They don't want him to free farm away. And TC, no matter how great he is on the Lone Druid, it's not going to be... he's not going to be effective to actually make an impact. So we actually do see that it looks like TC is making his way down bottom. They're going for the aggressive tri-lane. But I gotta say, I have seen a lot of different lanes for the Tinker. I have not seen an aggressive tri-lane. So, interesting setup, and I guess I'm going to be learning a little bit as much as you guys are, because I could see some potential, and I could see some very, very drastic weaknesses. We'll just see if the lane presence of the Tormented Spirit and the Nyx Assassin will be able to just do enough. Tormented Soul, actually. I don't know why I flashed back improperly. But anyways, Lesh and Shadow Demon, great presence. They're going to be doing a lot here on the top lane. And with this ward active, negating the pull here, Highlighty and Zizo going to have some issues actually making this work for Eternal Envy. Again, Bulba is up here. He is on the lane, tri-lane with Fluff and IX Mike. This is very, very weird for me. But let's see how Bulba can actually... I mean, he wants the farm priority, but I just don't know how much he's going to be really adding to this. It's effectively a 2 versus 3, where Bulba just hangs out for right clicks. And that can be promising here and there. But it's just, yeah, like I said, it's not going to be exactly as you would expect it to be. It's just going to be them trying to control the presence here. And we do already see that he's already getting some last hit, blinding out, harassing back PL. He does have plenty of regen to work with, but we start off with the Shadow Demon's Disruption into the Light Strike Ray. Still lands despite the Nice Impale. Bulba taking a lot, has to Magic Stick to stay alive. He will be able to get on out of here, though, and pop off a salve after those right clicks come on through. But we actually see the Courier dropping, and this is a huge, huge deal. Oh my gosh, their Courier. I wish I could select exactly where that went, but instead I'm just changing vision. Anyways, we do see the Impale on Pielighty. He doesn't have Disruption for 2 seconds. It's not enough. Laser comes out for a first blood for Bulba. Big, nice little burst damage, and that's how it's working for them here. Now changing over Zizar, taking a lot of creep auto attacks so they can follow on through. Light Strike Array comes, but no, the Impale comes first, and therefore they get the second kill on the board. And EE, despite his HP regen just stacked on up, is actually going to be forced out here. Now, my hypothesis about the Courier is that it was trying to bring Sentry Wards, and it was a misplay, but that would have it somewhere around here, and I'm really not sure about the hotkey as far as selecting it out. So, either way, Courier's dead, and that's very, very unfortunate for them. But let's check out Ride's bottle situation. It's in the stash. That means it wasn't a kill on the mid-Courier. It definitely means that it was a kill on the Sentry Wards. But, nevertheless, I'm not exactly sure where those are located, so you just have to check out the replay if you really want to know. We do see down here there was a good transition in. They lost both their supports. They're like, we might as well move somewhere else. So they put a little bit more control across the map to actually bring down Korok, which is a lot easier to do when he's not level 6. No ball lightning available. He can just really, really put out that pressure. You can gank him up, and we see that already working very, very nicely for them. But they've lost 2 for their supports. They've fed Bulba. Already, he's got 300 gold plus a bottle. He's got plenty to work with here, and I think it's going to be harder and harder to force him out of the lane. TC doing as well as he would be expected to be up against a Magnus 1v1. I mean, it's just easy matchup for him. The Orb of Venom putting out a lot of pressure there. So, yeah, Magnus actually having to pop off another salve, and now looking for more. Bulba dancing back and forth. Double damage on Zizo. They want to go in very, very shortly, so we'll see how it pays out. But right now, this Sentry Ward might give them a little bit of vision, just a slight, tiny bit of warning. But right now, it's actually Pielighty trying to come in from the north and get the disruption off. He could get the disruption right there, but his supports were much further away than that of Liquids, and they just didn't feel it was the right time and place to engage. Interesting move for TC to pick up. Okay, actually, we do see action onto Zizo. He is going to go no light strike array at all. He gets bursted down too hardcore. The lance goes on through. The soul catcher did strike on Alex Mike, but without that light strike array, that matchup is completely skewed. That 3 versus 3 without a proper LSA has absolutely no chance of working here. So this is really, really interesting. We do see that March Machines getting ranked up, and you know, when you have that much that powerful of stuns with Impale, with the Split Earth, that's long duration. That's 4 seconds they're locked into position, and Bulba stacking up just a single March of Machines, it actually is a lot of damage for fleeing support. So it adds up very, very quickly, and it's showing its impact here. Along with that, we see how Eternal Envy is lacking in farm, sitting at 9 friggin' CS, up against a Tinker who has 14. EE having a really, really rough time this laning phase, and that's all based on Team Liquid's decision here, not to just give up the offlane with a lone Druid, but to fight it, to contest it directly, 3 versus 3, and so far working wonders. We do see the only lane that really has an advantage for Kaipi is the mid lane here. With that gank that came out from the supports, Arise was able to get a huge experience advantage onto Korok, but right now his bottle has been so delayed that Korok seems to be regaining a little bit of that presence here and there. So yeah, Boots still on TC, so he's using it. He's not using it for an entangle tool. He's using it for a range attack harass tool. He's pretty much just playing that range advantage, 550 attack range versus melee. Despite the fact that he's only up against a stout shield, he'll be in an okay position here and there. Now, as far as the courier respawning, it does have Unbottle up on it, so we are actually going to be seeing that Arise and Bone 7 were both looking for a bottle, and I believe it must have been a kill by the lone Druid down on bottom in that scenario. Wow. That is very, very unfortunate. Bone 7 feeding away that. We do see on mid that Zizo is taking too much damage here. He will be dropped down. Trying to contest runes. Up against a Storm Spirit, up against a roaming Nyx. Fluff is not going to let that happen. Instead, Lina actually takes a fall. So, in this situation, the rune actually was... I'm not 100% certain, the 4-minute rune. What happened to that one there? It's not saying on my chat log. But either way, it looks like the... I don't know. Either way. It was denied. That's got to be what it was about, obviously. I don't know why that took me that long to run to that conclusion, but we do see a big damage on Eternal Envy. Oh my gosh, that pickoff is so essential, and it's just showing Fluff and his really good sense of timing and positioning. Even on these kind of servers, he's finding the opportunity to get a stun like that across trees, the perfect positioning. Oh my gosh, that was really good setup, and Eternal Envy is losing a lot because of it. Now, we do see that they're putting out aggression on the mid lane more and more again, but they don't really need to. Storm Spirit getting dived up by the Primal Split. That's plenty of disables that if Storm Spirit doesn't have Ball Lightning, Brewmaster automatically wins. Automatically can bring him from like 75% to 0 because it's just that strong of an ultimate. So in this situation here, Arise now has full control of the lane, but that actually opens up Pielighty and Zizo to go and gank up down on bottom. TC has boots on the bear, has boots on himself, but he's going to have to go for a very quick jog if he's going to be able to get out of this mess here. Jumping into his ulti form, Spider Sense tingling, he is actually in a really bad spot now. The disruption will come, and that will set it up for Zizo to go for the light strike ray. Easy peasy. Nice and tangle on Bone 7, but it's still a lot of damage coming on in. The skewer cannot follow through, though. Bone 7 too low to jump into tower range, and with the shockwave missing, TC will walk away nicely. That's the power of that ulti. Popping it off, perfect timing. Gets a huge boost in HP and armor, and using it to great effect here. As effectively, his 100 gold salve counteracts 100 gold of smoke, as well as a heck of a lot of time. Lenient Shadow Demon actually sitting right now at level 2 for the Lina, level 2 for the Shadow Demon. Leveling up as I speak, but nevertheless, that's a lot of time out of lane. That's a lot of time with low presence. And you can see it on the hero level graph that the Leshrac and the Nyx are doing so much better, and even Bulba is coming out on top compared to Eternal Envy. So, in this situation, Kaipi in another difficult spot. Korok has that Ball Lightning now, so they have to go perfectly with this skewer into tower range. They're going to go for it, but Korok does have that Ball Lightning. The slow mostly ignored based on that, and he will be able to walk on out. Bone 7 without any mana. Tinker coming in. He has the travels at 7 minutes. 6.5 minutes in, he buys the travels, Corey's it on up, and now this is going to be bad for Kaipi. Boba, once he gets his Boots of Travels on the Tinker, is suddenly a complete force to be reckoned with. He's everywhere on the map. He refreshes this over and over. For those that don't know how it works, rearming the Boots of Travels with his ultimate. If he picks up a Soul Ring, he can nullify the cost and just pay that in blood. But either way, Boba will be in a position now to just control the map. Top lane, bottom lane, mid lane. He can go push it out every single time he wants to and start putting pressure on the towers. IX Mike not ranking up edicts, so the towers won't be falling that quickly, but it still adds up very, very quickly. And it looks like they're going to be able to bring this down below half HP by themselves and without any retaliation. EE resigning to the freaking easy camps of the jungle and letting them take this tower. The fortification down, the supports roaming around in the Radiant jungle means, yeah, that is easy pickings for presumably Boba to try to go for the last hit. The siege creep messes it up a little bit, but that's just more gold for the Radiant as a whole. So we do see that attempt to flank to gank, but right now it's actually going to be a rune race for the 8-minute. He gets it. Korok guesses the rune. Holy crap. That is just like commitment to playing the odds here. I mean, if he didn't get the rune, that would have been devastating. He lost all his mana. He could have gotten clapped again, but instead he gets it, and he will walk away. But now they actually lock him in place with the disruption, but Zizo not going to go for the LSA. Instead, Carapace is right back at himself, and Fluff is here to play. TC just showing their strength of being able to respond to situations by being in the right place at the right time. And now we see down at bottom that with TC's Bear dealing so much damage and the March and the Lightning to be able to burn down the creep wave, they can just push like crazy. And now even the tier 2 is going to take some big hits. Zizu is level 3. Going up against a level 8 lone druid, doesn't stand a chance, has to rely on the Magnus to start things off, and even then, he's only sitting at level 6 himself. This could be one of the most difficult games for Kaipi Gaming to pull on out of. The laning phase, they drafted up a Phantom Lancer. They knew that they didn't have as much lane presence as they wanted without that Keeper of the Light, and now they are pretty much just having to deal with that situation because Liquid has broken this game wide open. The Boots of Travels on the Tinker, the Storm Spirit hitting level 6, suddenly they have all the potential in the world to just start obliterating people, go for long-range pickoffs. I mean, Zizou has a friggin' gauntlet, no boots for a long, long time. And even when he does save up enough for boots, their wards are going to start suffering. We do see these have been up for only a couple minutes, so they will be up here for a while. But my kind of prediction is that as soon as this expires, they're going to have one ward up on the map for quite some time. Korok going on in, trying to put some damage into Pylite, but he's actually by himself. Fluff does get stunned up quite a bit. Carapace on cooldown, he might just fall, but Korok actually gets out despite the reality rift, or sorry, wow, fail. The reverse polarity being popped off on him. They lose Fluff. They do lose Fluff. But Korok getting RP'd and still surviving just has too much to work with here. The Brewmaster doing a nice stun, but the split will not come through. Beautiful stun from IX Mike, making sure he could not Thunderclap. Now Lone Druid in a rough spot, trying to get entangled, but no such luck. It is actually going to be all in favor of Kaipi for this exchange, but is it really going to be enough? They committed the reverse polarity, they committed the primal split. Suddenly they have no T5 potential, and this is Korok's cue to jump on in. Defensive disruption to try to delay the inevitable, but he will fall, and from there they're going to be able to bring down this tower very, very quickly. I gotta say, again, I cannot understate how amazing the stun from IX Mike was there. The Split Earth locking down on the Brewmaster the second that the primal split was about to end stopped him from clapping. He had the mana, he had the cooldown, he was about to get the clap, and then all he needed was one right click to finish off oh crap, no, I don't remember who it was. It was, I believe, Korok, but I'm not 100%. Either way, he saved his life because of the IX Mike stun. It was really, really nice, and I gotta say that made the team fight, in my opinion. Obviously, they did lose one hero, but they got a tower, they got a couple of big cooldowns, and still, Team Liquid, are they seriously going for this? They can, because they have Bulba coming in with that Boots of Travels onto the Spear Bear, and now they just have to really do some good rotations. They have Bottle up on Korok as well as Bulba. They have a lot of HP to work with here. They just have to get this high ground vision with the Static Remnant, and that's going to be setting themselves up nicely. Actually going in onto Zizo, he gets defensively disrupted. Big cooldown popped off there. Zizo is going to try to get a stun off, does get it on Korok, but one more ball of lightning will set it up. Zizo will fall. I'm amazed they don't retaliate. I mean, here's Arise, here is Pylite, and Storm Spirit's practically out of mana, but Korok just scaring them a little bit too much. They think that he has plenty of people at his back. Little do they know that it's going to be about to be a Roche coming on through. They do have this Observer Ward. It's kind of showing much more so what's been going on, but so far, no contest. Ice might taking a few hits, but in the end, it's a friggin' 12-minute Roche kill coming out of Team Liquid for a lineup that would generally have a very, very difficult time doing it. But they find their window, they find their little sneaky plays, and they're able to actually make it work for them very, very nicely. Korok looking for long-range initiation, but just can't find it. Fluff scouting on out with that Vendetta, but Bone 7 is safely under the tower, at least for the moment. Fluff's Vendetta expiring. He will fall back from here. But let's look at this ward situation. This is what I was talking about. With the gold disadvantage, with the supports roaming out so hard, Pylite picking up his boots. Same thing with Zizao finally. Actually, pretty bad spot for Bulba here. But look at their wards. Look at their vision. And actually, they're not even going to get Bulba here. He gets out despite the light strike array. Oh, that sucks for Zizo and the team in general. They needed that kill. But either way, look at the vision. They have Creepwave pushing out in mid. That's about it. They have this bottom room ward that's going to expire in 50 seconds. They haven't replaced anything else. Liquid, on the other hand, they have controlled the secret shop. They can go aggressive on anybody turtling on the tier 2. They have vision of Eternal Envy on the top lane for a few more seconds. They have spread vision. It's not the best for ganking. I mean, they're still going to have to rely on being in a very, very lucky position. But nevertheless, the timing of these wards, the fact that the supports really can't reinforce that, it's making it so that more so, Kaipi is losing out on map control. And now, of course, with these towers being pushed down, that's being put to the test. Here we see the tier 2 dropping down quickly. Korok going to disengage aggro, so the creeps have to tank it up. And from here, actually going in aggressively. They get the blink, however, blink, clap, and the ulti. They will get the stone off on Bulba, and he will fall in a bad spot. But nice tornado coming out on Storm Spirit. Fluff trying to stun up and not going to be able to find that opportunity. Bulba is still alive, though. Blink's away. He is still going. He's going to juke on into the trees, try to go for a TP when that soul ring's off cooldown. Arise, very, very disgruntled as far as how that played on out, and that is amazing that he was able to get on out of that. He seemed like a dead man walking to me, but there wasn't follow-up damage. It's only a rank 1 ulti. Korok does get clapped up, though, under the tower. Fluff's the one taking it for the moment, but Shadow Demon will fall first. Korok just gets on out of there. He has the Aegis, he has the mana, and he's just like, screw it, I'll go where I want. And so he just jumps in all over the place. That is ridiculous. Bulba survives, like I said, did the soul ring twice over to give himself a little bit of a boost to head down the other lane. And now, with Ix Mike having a rank 2 edict, and Bulba coming right back up to join the party, they're going to go for this crazy split push. Everybody TP bottom, screw it, we'll take top. And this is going to be even more of an advantage for them. Now, I gotta say, I did overestimate the Brewmaster a little bit down on the bottom lane. Arise jumping on in. He had the double damage on himself, but he had the primal split popped off so early on. The Fire Panda does a lot of damage, but in this situation, they were able to do too much to him. Oh my gosh, this stun, this dust, oh, it doesn't connect. They did reduce its range slightly, or I should say bug fixed its range just a little bit there. But either way, not connecting as it should, or would, again. But nevertheless, that was a good attempt by them, using the dust, trying to make it happen, but no, not so much. Pylite, gonna get caught out here. TC gets 1 right click, 2 right clicks, needs that entangle, should be with this 3rd. There it is. Pylite gonna get locked down. Defensively disruptions very nicely, but the whole gang is here, and they're ready to follow this up nicely. Even Ix Mike using the disruption as his initiation tool rather than that of the Shadow Demons. So we do see this tower going to be dropping very, very quickly. All 5 are actually down here, ready to just completely batter this down. And yeah, the fortification is available, but they're not going to commit it on something that's going to fall ever so swiftly. And yeah, now Tinker is here to stay, here to play. He has his Blink Dagger, looking for even more amazing utilities in just a little bit here. One thing I gotta mention is 1 RP has been sent out by the Magnus this entire game, and it was to very little effect. It went on the Storm Spirit. Korok still walks away with plenty of HP to spare, and in this situation, that's devastating for them. They need to get a big RP off, and maybe the Primal Split to use it at the same time, because that Fire Panda does have some good AoE, and grouping them up together could set that up nicely. Either way, right now, the push continues, the pressure comes out, and let's look at farm. Wow, 67 CS on EE. Eternal Envy has Tranquils and Drums. I feel he's gotten much more gold from the gold over time than he has from last hits, just because he's not been able to find safe places to farm. The lanes are pushed in, the map control is gone, and now the Bear is pushing in to try to steal the fate here. Korok jumping on in. Nice disruption, though. Now Bone 7 trying to help out his ally, but the stun's coming out on Pylite. He's gonna fall. Now Zizo, the next target of choice, but the Bear does get stunned up. Here comes on in. Primal Split going on through. Their RP is committed. On to Fluff and stuff, gonna be able to bring him down as well. Ix Mike has fallen, but Korok is still in this. Still dishing out damage, but he does get stunned up, does get locked down, and the Earth Panda stun is enough to finish it off. So double kills coming on through, and it's actually going to be Kaipi routing them and pushing them on out of the base, but Eternal Envy did get entangled. One more is all they need. Oh, they get the last right click, finishing the job here. EE drops, but the Soul Catcher on Boba will seal his fate, and soon to be TC's, I believe. He is 1 versus 3, tries to TP. He actually gets out of this. Really, really nice for him, but nevertheless, it was very, very costly. Kaipi was able to hold the line here. The tower dropped down to half HP, but Korok jumped on in, tried to find the storm. Pilotti defensively disrupts. Follow on through with Brewmaster jumping on down into this area here, just creating chaos in the center of focus, while the tower is still taken away at the people that dived on in. So really, using the high ground and tower advantage while still engaging as they wished was very, very effective there. Also, the double RP, essential for being able to clean up as well as they had. Either way, though, they are still very, very far behind. We see this gold graph. Oh, it's kind of painful to look at. 14k in terms of gold going the way of Team Liquid, and 3k as far as experience. It's actually rather interesting to see how big of a difference it is between these two graphs. We do see Bone 7 getting picked off here, and with Korok jumping on in, this might be enough, but we do see right now the disruption coming up. Bone 7 will actually survive. Bulba should right-click him, laser him, rocket him, whatever he needs to do, but they lost 2 already. They lost the Nyx Assassin, they lost the Storm Spirit, getting a little bit too big for their britches. Nice blink coming out from Bulba, still gets hit by the lance, but it should be enough to pull him out of harm's way. And right now they're playing 3 distract from 2, as the bear is just trying to get some damage in on the tower. Alright then, what else? There was a tangent that I had in my head, but I think it has mostly resolved itself, so... Oh, the gold graph and the experience graph. It's really actually interesting to see how big of a deal this is, and a lot of it has to do with towers. Towers providing a lot more gold than they do experience, but we see here 14,000 gold advantage for Liquid, only about 2,500 as far as experience. The kills are only 14 to 10 right now, so although they've gained so much map control, they've been grouping up a lot. And when you go as 5-man Dodo, you're sharing that experience every little bit of the way. And so that is actually giving Kaipi an opportunity to bounce back a little bit with the Phantom Lancer, sitting at level 11 himself. And, yeah, just they have that much more potential to spread their farm out here and there. Another interaction that I want to cover before another fight inevitably breaks out, because these teams just love their aggressive styles. But either way, is the pickup of the Brewmaster in the draft phase up against this Lone Druid. It's not that great versus Tinker, because he's all about his spellcast, but it's actually really, really powerful up against the Lone Druid. Lone Druid, first of all, doesn't like to do a BKB on himself or the bear or anything like that, but also the Drunken Haze is pretty much the limiting factor where the attacks are going to miss. The entangle procs that would be there are instead just going to fall on deaf ears. They're not going to be able to connect, and I think that Drunken Haze is probably one of the most underrated counters for Lone Druid. Admiral Bulldog talks about it quite a bit, but other than that, a lot of people don't seem to cover it. So I wanted to highlight on that and say it was a smart draft in that regard. The one issue that we saw is that it was forcing them into a situation where it was a Magnus 1 versus 1 against the Lone Druid, and that's just not a matchup you're going to win. Only now, just now, picking up the Blink Dagger is this Magnus. He has Blink Initiation, but he's, yeah, like I said, he's only level 9. It's been 20 minutes without that, and we'll have to see if it can actually turn the tide here. Calm before the storm, roaming on in. They're going to set up the battle cry up on the bear. The Lone Druid is in range, so they're going to be able to bring down this tower before there's any response. And so with this tier 3 down, oh, there's the Drunken Haze. That's what I'm talking about. Getting those misses, they'll actually deny it for themselves. A lot of people debate the effectiveness here, but this thing's going to fall with one more bear right click. It's just not worth it to keep it up. Either way. So this is going to be interesting. Now, I do feel that a Sentry Ward, actually very, very well timely, dropped. They do have this Sentry Ward down, which is covering up most of the entrance here. That's about Fluff and stuff. Fluff would love to get some high ground scouting, but if they have the Sentry down, they're going to be able to counteract this. Going on in, Bone 7 gets a double RP, trying to go for a Blink Clap, but instead the Skewer pushes them all the way back into the base. Onyx Mike will be dropping very shortly, and that is in a flying bear, sending in the Tinker. I think Boba actually, no, he is still in here. He didn't have to cancel out his TP. Shift queued the Blink to get on out, but trying to drop as many marches as possible, trying to dissuade Kaipi from initiating further, and it seems to be working. The Pandas falling back in a rise, just going to juice back up, but they've committed everything. They committed the Primal Split, they've committed to the Polarity, and now Arise getting stunned up. Dagon coming out from Bulba, or no, actually, I'm not sure why I saw Dagon, but anyways, rockets and lasers and lots of burst damage either way. Korok jumping around a little bit too far ahead of himself. They're focusing down the racks. Fortification pops, but it looks like the melee racks will fall. Is there a Dagon? I'm just crazy. I am completely insane. But either way, We see a quick burst coming out on everybody. We saw the Brewmaster drop very, very swiftly, and now so shall the racks. So good movement there. TC will be lanced on up, but he'll be able to fall back very, very nicely for him. And from there, they took their objective. They took the spawner. They took the racks down. So in that sense, it's going to be continuous pressure coming down. And the one thing I got to mention, this is something that we see from Team Liquid. When they're winning a game, they're really, really winning a game. And by that I mean, look at the tower count. Tier 1 on bottom, Tier 1 on mid. It does only have 200 HP, but nevertheless stands. And with the top, 500 also available there. We do miss the Shadow Demon pick off, but it's really of little consequence here. 20 seconds he'll be back up because he's only freaking level 7, but he's just trying to go out to ward. And like I said, right now with the gold advantage of the Radiant supports, Team Liquid is able to drop shit like this. Dropping wards, keeping vision out from anybody that tries to come in this direction. So Roche, completely uncontested, and especially not by a lowly support. So good pick off there, a couple right clicks, finishing him off quickly, and this should move Bulba in towards a very, very smoothly timed Scythe of Ice. Picking up the Aegis is the Storm Spirit, actually, rather than the Lone Druid, but he does have that Orchid, has a lot of offensive potential, and he does seem to get a little bit in over his head in the team fight. So good pickup. I was talking about wards, but there was one other thing that I wanted to jump on into before we proceed. Oh, the towers. I mean, no, actually, we see the vision. Advantage does comes out, going for one more ball of lightning to pull him on in. There's going to be the skewer onto Korok. He's actually very low on mana. He's going to get bursted with the Soul Catcher. The Aegis already gone, but Eternal Envy defensively disrupted, but it should be his death. Pops off a Lance. That's all he brings to the table. And looking at buybacks, he does not have his available. He is just 500 gold short, and that might be the 500 gold that seals his fate here. Nice Light Strike Array coming out from Zizou. Does actually go for the ball lightning here. Korok gets killed. Arise and Zizou picking him off with some really powerful nukes. Good timing, and they do actually get a Korok for their trouble, but now the pressure comes on in the tier 2 and mid. Luckily, this time around, they have their big cooldowns. They have their big ultis, and they can go for this fight. They're going to go in now, popping up the Primal Split. No, gets stunned by the Split Earth, gets stunned by the Impale, but he still can drop it in the end. It doesn't need to, though. They disengage because they have to leave Ix Mike for dead. They knew that team fight was not theirs to take. I'm surprised they even forced the issue on the mid, but either way, Ix Mike is going to be the casualty there. And it looks like Leshrac is actually going for a BKB, which is rather potent. Can be high promise, and we'll see exactly how it works out for him. But for right now, he needs about 1,200 more gold to make that happen. It's a great item when you want to be in the thick of things, but right now he hasn't even skilled up his Pulse Nova, so I definitely would expect him to at least skill that out twice over before he actually can use that BKB to the effect that he intends to. Either way, towers still standing, map control. Oh my gosh, they have all the vision in the world because these towers, they're not going to get flanked up. They have pretty much the continuous push of the lanes because these creeps, I mean, mega creeps always have that momentum. They always have that pressure. 46 damage, 757 HP. You compare that to what the Dire bring, and you're actually going to see, like, this is not even close. They do twice as much damage. They have a huge HP boost, even another point in armor. So suddenly, unless you're putting pressure out on these lanes, these creeps are always going to be making their way through that bottom lane. And that's something that's, right now, I don't feel Kaipi can afford. They need to take it late game. They need to go just capitalize on the 4.2 agi gain of Phantom Lancer. But for the moment, he's only sitting at level 13. He's only sitting at a net worth of 7,500. That's very, very bad for him in this situation. I can't blame him, given the pressure that Team Liquid has put on out, but they need to pull something out, and right now, it's all about Magnus' ulti. It's all about the Brewmaster and his disable coordination. Shadow Demon has only rank 1 Shadow Poison. You generally don't go for maxing it with the Lina combo. We do see actually pick off onto Bulba and TC. Huge pick. The Light Striker comes out. TC just obliterated here. He will try to walk away, but no such luck. He will get stunned out, and that's going to be his demise. Korok jumping in. He could be dropped as well. The Lance goes down to the low ground, but he dodges out, orchiding up on Zizou. He's going for more. He will pick off Zizou, but actually jumping right into Eternal Envy's clutches with that Diffusal Blade up. Leshrac thrown up in the air. They just don't care. They're going to be able to bring him down with no real trouble here. He's doing some damage, but oh my gosh, that was disastrous for Liquid. They try to force the high ground here, but it feels like Kaipi is just holding strong. They're going up in this position here, but the RP, that initiation from Bone 7. Like, generally speaking, you see 2-man RPs pretty frequently, but you don't see 2-man RPs on the 2 most important heroes on Team Liquid's lineup. He picked up TC, he picked up Bulba, he brought them into the base, and they immediately were taken out of the fight. If Bulba hadn't just bought up the Sheepstick, he might have been able to buy back Boots of Travels in and make an impact, but here, he was shut down hardcore, just no gold to work with, and from there, that was the initiation that the Kaipi really, really needed to stay on in this. Defusal 2 up on Phantom Lancer. I'm going to real quick mention that I don't feel this is going to be the best option here. It does increase his damage output more so than I believe any other usage of that gold could. We just see a pick off. Oh, actually a huge team fight. It's not just a pick, it's finding them out completely. And Kaipi loses both their supports here. TC pushing in on mid. This is a great timing window for them to put the pressure out, even so much as to use the gem and go out to pick off Korok here. I'm assuming it must have been Fluff and stuff to start things off here. He has a blink. He has rank 2 Vendetta. A lot of potential there. But it's just interesting how they were completely caught off guard in that position. Sorry about that. It caught me off guard as well, but holy crap, good picks. And now looking for more on the racks here. Nice Drunken Haze, limiting. Look at the bear. He's just missing over and over and over and over, but he will inevitably hit a couple strikes here and there, and the Assault Kuros will reduce that damage, reduce the armor substantially to allow him to just finish this off with no great trouble. Again, Drunken Haze expiring. You see the massive difference between those two. Drunken Haze bear versus not, completely different situation. Anyways, the supports are back up, setting it up so they can go for this big RP. The Sheepstick comes, but not before that skewer going across. Nice carapace by Fluff, but it's not enough to keep him up. Korok jumping on in, but he has no life to work with, trying to finish it off, and he actually just disjoints a Laguna Blade, I believe. He gets hit by the Demonic Purge, but the Laguna Blade didn't seem to land true. Either way, Korok jumping on out and surviving. They lost their last track, they lost their Nyx, but they take the racks, and, you know, they've taken down 4 out of the 6. They feel confident that they can just gun for those top ones. And in this position here, Kaipi, the damages this bear can deal, you have to be turtling with 2 or 3 heroes constantly and have the others have TP scrolls every single second of the day. And that's, when you're playing on the defensive like that, it's hard to get the big plays out. So we'll have to see how it actually works out for them. Either way, I was talking about item allocation, and although I believe Diffusal Blade is going to be the best damage per gold, because it is only just a recipe cost, putting that gold towards a Vitality booster, towards a Reaver, I feel could be that much more effective. They already have +9 to strength because of the drums, but they do not have that much HP to work with for EE himself. They have 1200 max HP. Now, I guess it makes sense that if you're pretty much just relying 100% on the disables to set up your team fight, and you know that you're going to lose if you don't get them, it makes sense just to build for damage, but it's also a limiting factor, where if EE gets picked, it's 100% GG. He has buyback this time around, so he feels comfortable putting pressure onto this tier 1, but it's very, very limiting for him. And Bulba has all the maneuverability in the world. The Blink Sheep, holy crap, EE doesn't stand a chance if he just gets focused. But we do see actually the split push pressure coming on in, and this tower is already dropping very, very quickly. This is immense. He does keep on missing, but it's going to be enough to bring down the tier 3s. And without the tier 3s, these racks are so darn exposed. This is going to be it if they don't make something happen here. But the Rockets canceling out the blink daggers for 3 more seconds. Only now can they initiate, and it might be too late. The rack's about to fall. Ike's may taking a lot. Gets blinked, gets clapped, but the melee have fallen. Now coming on in. Fluff and stuff trying to put out some pressure. There it is. It's Mega Creeps. The fight was over before it began. Now the Primal Split comes out. Zizo taking a lot of damage from that Maelstrom, though. Here comes that. Bone 7 jumping in with a big skewer RP. It's going to be able to bring down multiple heroes here. Triple kill for Arise. They're going to destroy this team fight, forcing out buyback after buyback, but they literally have to all in for the enemy base and fight through not 1, not 2, not 3 towers, but 5 towers to actually make the Ancient exposed. Sure, they won this fight. They destroyed it, but it didn't happen fast enough. Bobo, with those rockets, continuously canceling out the blinks, kept on delaying Kaipi until the bear had done its work, being able to bring down those racks, and even Fluff finding a pickoff on the Magnus here. This is it. They're not calling it GG just yet. It's very unofficial in that sense, but wow, that is something. This has been completely in control, and, you know, EE didn't even pick up the Tier 1 tower on bottom. Eternal Envy could not lock it down, and from here, we do see 20k gold advantage, even though the experience advantage has just come on down. It's like a nice ski slope or snowboard or something. It's a nice opportunity to go for a fun little ride, but either way, it has jumped back down to 0, equalized up as far as experience goes, but 20,000 gold, and, you know, not to mention the 6 racks advantage. Seems to be a little bit much for Kaipi to try to do anything here. So, as far as how this played out before the final fight comes on through, which would presumably be... I hope they don't wait for Roche. They don't friggin' need to. The Mega Creep wave is all they need. But anyways, the one thing that I feel Liquid did so well in this game that was not something that was a given, it was definitely based around skill, was that top tri-lane situation. Fluff's been doing great on his initiation, finding pickoffs here and there as well. It's been really nice, and we do see him actually going in up against a Rise, taking too much damage. Big right click coming out of a Rise with a Mask of Madness. I was curious how he's doing that, but making himself very vulnerable to try to go for some cheesy, easy DPS. Either way, no, Fluff and stuff has been initiating very nicely, finding openings, has a Blink Dagger, has the Vendetta, been able to do quite a bit here, but I gotta say it was really about that tri-lane working out so nicely for them. Up top, Leshrac, Nyx, and a Tinker working out so darn amazingly against a Shadow Demon Lina and a Phantom Lancer was very effective, and we did see the impact very directly. The supports didn't have boots for friggin' ever. When they bought boots, they couldn't ward. They were so darn starved, they couldn't gain map control, and from there the push kept on going, giving a ton of gold to everyone. So now we do see this fight still going on through. Korok finds the pickoff on Magnus, but the Leshrac has already fallen. Korok diffused on up, losing all his mana, and the RP does come on through. So they do seal his fate, but these Mega Creeps are everywhere. Oh my gosh, you're playing Left 4 Dead and you just lost your main DPS. There's no chance. These creeps are all over the place, and the Panda Bear seals its fate. So nice maneuver from Team Liquid, and this was Game 2 of the Best of 3 series. So very nice play from Team Liquid. For those of you guys that don't know, we have a, I don't know if you call it event, a feature, a segment that we have after the game called Ask the Pros. We're going to pull on one member of Team Liquid. Generally we do Bulba, but if he wants to throw it over to somebody else, that's cool too. But anyways, we're going to have an interview with one of the pro players from Team Liquid after their win here. And pretty much what we're looking at there is in the Twitch chat of twitch.tv/the Premier League. You can enter your questions in and when I ask for them, and I'll be pulling from them for all the good ones to ask away for whoever's going to be answering. So that will pretty much set it up so that if you guys have any questions for Team Liquid, whether involving this match or as their team as a whole, then that'll give you an opportunity to indirectly interact with them, and hopefully you guys will enjoy that opportunity. But either way, that's going to be again on twitch.tv/the Premier League. But this was a pretty exciting series. I can't say that it was on the edge of your seat, nail biter, who's going to make it, but nevertheless it was fun to see Liquid just showing how amazing they can play in the right situation. Either way, Bulba Tinker, it's back. It's in this case in a tri-lane, and that's smoking. So either way, that's going to be it. It was a 2-0 victory in favor of Team Liquid, just showing how strong they can be in any scenario, playing up a couple different interesting matchups, but it worked out very nicely for them. Either way, Korok feuded 10, 9, and 6, but beyond that, MVP has to be... Oh, that's a tough call, honestly. That's a really tough call for me, because Team Liquid in general plays very strong. But I gotta say, if not, I'm just gonna give it to Leshrac. I'm gonna give it to IX Mike. He may be only level 11. He may be 7 deaths in, but his stuns following up after the enemy's disruption or the primal split ending or anything, he always used every opportunity to find a good split earth. He made it work in the tri-lane very well. He made it work in the team fights very well. He farmed up a friggin' BKB while keeping wards up so very actively. I know Fluff was very involved in that as well, but really, the one that I gotta say has been unmentioned for most of the game, but in this situation just had all the skill in the background, I gotta say is Ix Mike, so well played to him. But either way, that is going to be it for the Premier League presentation for this Game 2, signing off for this Best of 3 series here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the commentary. I'm Blaze. If you want to follow me, you can check me out at twitter.com/blazecasting. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll go on into the post-match interview in just a few minutes.